Welcome back to the Todd and Oz Show on News Radio KLBJ, AM 590, 99.7 FM, and everywhere at newsradioklbj.com. You can find our stream online, too, and our podcast. Yeah, listen, let's give them some business. This portion of the news brought to you by Matt's El Rancho, celebrating their 72nd anniversary this year. In fact, if you'd like your chance to win a $25 gift card to Matt's El Rancho, simply text the word anniversary to 512-836-0590 for your chance to win that $25 gift card to Matt's El Rancho. How about that? Let's give them the business. Lawmakers are pushing to prevent members of Congress from buying stocks.
A bill introduced by a bipartisan group of senators would immediately ban members of Congress from buying stocks and stop them from selling stocks within 90 days after passage. It would also ban spouses and dependent children from doing so starting in 2027. Virginia Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger and Texas Republican Chip Roy have pushed a House bill backed by over 70 other members that would ban lawmakers from trading stocks. Spanberger says support for a ban is at an all-time high and momentum continues to grow. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Amtrak and a private company are working together for a plan for high-speed rail here in Texas, linking some of our biggest cities. But local leaders up in North Texas in the Metroplex, well, they may have a tough time figuring out where to put the tracks.
An extension of that line would get people from Dallas to Fort Worth in half an hour. The North Central Texas Council of Governments has started planning for elevated tracks near downtown Dallas, running between Reunion Tower and the new convention center. But City Councilman Omar Narvaez says they want to pause and look at the possibility of tracks running at ground level west of downtown.
This tap of the brakes, we get our economic impact study back, which thank you Fort Worth and Arlington for working with us on it. So that we can see that entire benefit.
But because the Council of Governments has already started engineering, Michael Morris says if they change the route now, they might miss deadlines to get federal money.
The safer, less risky route would be to try to get consensus on this western alignment.
He says he's asking the feds if they can get any flexibility on deadlines. Alan Skaya, TSN News.
It is 5:51, and with a look at your money, here's business reporter Jessica Ettinger.
Wall Street opens this morning after a mixed day for stocks. The Dow was higher, but the S&P 500 index and the NASDAQ each sold off. NVIDIA was down 5%. And something interesting happened.
Most interesting day of the year. The Russell 2000 up 3.6% with the S&P down. Do you know the last time that actually happened? October 2008. That's how rare that is. This is not negative on tech. This is positive on diversification. That's the way to look at this.
Right. CNBC's Bob Pisani. Investors are on hold for the start of earnings season this morning. Big banks like J.P. Morgan Chase and Citigroup will report.
There's going to be hope. There's going to be despair. There's going to be beats. There's going to be misses. And you just have to take it. It's probably not all good and probably not all bad. And that is what this earnings season is about. And it's just fantastic to me. We're finally going to rotate away from everything's been all economic, really. And I'm really excited for Q2 to start ramping up here in earnings season.
G Squared's Victoria Green on CNBC. Inflation down again in June. It's now sitting at about 3%. That's way down from more than 9% 2 years ago.
Core inflation is the lowest in 3 years.
National Economic Council's Lael Brainerd on CNBC. Mortgage rates with a dramatic drop on that CPI report from more than 7% yesterday to 6.85% in 1 day for a 30-year fixed home loan, according to Mortgage News Daily. A few years ago, there was a big move for wealthy people, especially, to leave high-tax states and move to low-tax states like Florida. But that is starting to turn around. States like Florida are facing a home insurance crisis, record heat, and a forecast this year for a record hurricane season.
More than 250,000 taxpayers moved out of New York and California in 2022. That's according to the latest migration data from the IRS. The big winner was, yes, Florida, which added $36 billion in income in 2022. Texas gained $10 billion, but outmigration is slowing, down about 10% for both states. And the flows from Florida to New York, those were up, suggesting taxpayers are coming back.
CNBC's Robert Frank. On today's watch list, earnings season begins this morning. We get quarterly results from banks like J.P. Morgan Chase and Citigroup. We find out the latest on inflation at the wholesale level today with the PPI, the Producer Price Index. We get a fresh read on consumer sentiment. The American Century Celebrity Golf Tournament begins in Lake Tahoe. New in theaters, Gold Dove's horror film Lumina, Neon's horror thriller Long Legs, and Columbia's comedy romance Fly Me to the Moon.
That is reporter Jessica Ettinger at 5:54. Apple will now try to sell its AR/VR device, the Apple Vision Pro, in both Europe and Canada starting today. The headsets were first sold in the United States earlier this year.
Apple is debuting Vision Pro in both Canada and Europe in a year when the much-touted VR device has basically been a flop with the U.S. market. Not that anyone says it's bad, but it is incredibly expensive. An Apple Vision Pro headset will set you back $3,500 for a large, clunky device with an external battery that isn't attractive, but one which Apple expects you would wear while going about your daily routines. And in a year where people are having trouble paying the rent and for their groceries. Market tracker IDC reports Apple won't even sell 500,000 units this year. Eben Brown, Fox News.
When it comes to legacy businesses in Austin, very few can match the longevity of Dirty Martin's on Guadalupe. It's a burger joint that is celebrating its 98th year in business this week, and owner Mark Niebuhr tells CBS the Austin that he's very grateful for all the support he's gotten over the years.
You know, we're one of the oldest businesses, really, I think, of any kind, and we're very, very appreciative of everyone's support. Always have been.
Yeah, Niebuhr says he's hopeful that Dirty Martin's will be around for many more years, although he says the future isn't clear, as it once was due to Austin's Project Connect and its light rail line initially threatened to close the business down. A lawsuit is seeking to stop Project Connect, but Niebuhr doesn't feel he's completely clear just yet. It is 5:55 here at KLBJ. Stay close. Your very latest on the news straight ahead, right here on News Radio 590 KLBJ.
The Todd and Oz Show.